Um, so yeah, I did hear about the VP pick. My first instinct was to talk about something else because we've been talking about Joe Biden for like a few months now. I'm kind of
Yeah,
like
true.
not very passionate about it, but then I was kind of like, with the number of people and the number of perspectives we're having here, it may just come up anyway. So it might be good to touch on it really quickly. But what about you? What is your feeling about this pick?
My initial, well, I honestly was more for Harris. I mean, not Harris, Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but not for any other reason that I thought that she was the most impressive resume on the block out of many of the women that were already quite impressive on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it, and I've been thinking about it all day because I knew it was down to Harris and her. Um, and I don't know if I don't know if this is the right run pick because Harris was mostly known for taking Joe Biden down a notch in during the primaries.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that's enough for me to go, oh wow, exciting, great, and
yeah,
and and to be honest as well, she's basically known as a tough cop type, which in
yeah.
this environment may not help him with getting the base out.
Right. So that's the negative. The positive is she's seen as someone who can take on Pence,
Very
probably
easily.
probably take on Trump as well.
Yeah, I
So
agree with
she's
that.
seen as like tough under that kind of pressure and a fighter in that way.
Yep.
Um, the main thing for me was it just wasn't a surprise because she was the number one contender anyway.
Right. Right.
I don't know too much about Rice, except that she was in the Obama and the Clinton administration, and that the negative on her was the response to Rwanda.
Well,
Is
actually, it's the connection to Mrs. Clinton and during what's it called, the Benghazi
well that
incident.
well that too. The thing about that is like Benghazi to me is just a stupid like right
It
wing
is. It is.
thing.
Four people
Rwanda
died. Four
Rwanda
people.
to Rwanda is real because Rwanda was
Yeah.
genocide, at least
Yeah.
to me, anyways.
No, it is. It is. You're right.
But yeah, I don't know how much the general public feels about those kind of things or knows or takes that into account.
Well,
Obviously, the
and
lefties do.
one of the problems I have with Harris is that it's not going to do much for my desire to see criminal justice reformed in America.
Uh-uh.
Because she basically is the face of criminal justice as it exists now.
So, do you not believe her that she has moved away from that? Isn't that her thing? Is that like that was
Yes,
a long time ago, and that since then she's made many decisions that have taken her out of that realm?
I would love to believe it, but the problem is like, do I can't? It's like formative things that people make up people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's despite her saying that, it's still something it's her. I can't. It makes up her character at this point.
Right. Now, despite her saying that, is there evidence of her doing anything to move away from that
That's
policy?
why I try and think back when in her short career as a senator, and I don't know, to be completely honest with you.
Okay. That's the assertion anyway. So I'd be interested if there are any Kamala supporters. I'm sure they would know that.
But to be honest, I don't think it's a bad pick. It doesn't destroy his chances at the presidency. It's not like picking Sarah Palin, which absolutely destroyed McCain's chance.
Right. That was an interesting pick. McCain didn't agree with it, but their base, for all of her negatives, their base was riled up by this charismatic, um, good-looking person they put in there,
Sure.
and so as we see, I always see Sarah Palin as a precursor to Donald Trump,
Yeah.
in that
So
she was a cult of personality and more style than substance. So as ridiculous as that seemed, and as surprised as everyone was when Donald was elected, he had the signs over and over again. Everyone from Herman Payne to the Michelle "I'm not a witch" woman
Oh yeah.
to you know Ben Carson, to all of these highly underqualified cults of personality who they kept running. So we shouldn't have been surprised, you know, when Donald came in.
Now you're making me hungry, brother.
Except for the fact that he actually won, I guess.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. He had he had all his ducks in a row as far as the Republican Party was concerned.
And of course, you know, Roger
Roger
Stone.
Stone in his corner, so which I think was a deciding factor in getting some of the big donors to trust in Trump. Maybe against their own wishes, but
No, Roger knows how to play the game, right?
absolutely. He's a scumball, but he knew the landscape.
Um, Another question that has come up is strategically, Harris is from California, and
Yeah,
California is already a blue state.
yeah, solidly blue.
So he's already got that in the bag. So it's like he was expected to pick a woman of color from a southern state, or maybe not southern. Maybe he's already got the South in the bag, but at least like Midwest, or what strategically, as a campaign person, what area would you have picked the VP from?
Florida, Denning.
Florida.
Yeah, I would have picked Denning. Honestly, I think that was the wisest choice because Florida is a big battleground state, and you need it. You need every advantage you can get there.
Describe to me Denning. What's Denning like?
Denning, I don't know too much about her, to be completely honest with you.
She a black
Um,
woman?
she's a black woman. She's a black woman. She's I really should have looked up her before we started speaking. But she's not from my area. I think she's from Broward.
Okay.
Um, uh, so I believe she's from Broward. If she's from Miami-Dade, she was there after I was there.
Okay.
But she was a former sheriff, I believe. Let me see. Let me see if
Do you know
that's
what her politics are like?
not really. No. I don't know if that's what disqualified her. I mean, she may have been too radical for poor Joe.
Oh, you think she's radical?
I think. Well, no. I think she may have been. But Joe didn't want anything that was too different from him, and
Yeah.
so he was looking at all these kind of center of the road figures.
Okay, which is why we think Kamala won.
Yeah, I definitely I think she won because she's very similar to him in many ways.
Okay. Some folks were alluding to that's also where the money was coming from.
That's true too.
I guess as far as what folks who kind of put in their money for their policy bids or whatever.
Right. It's definitely there's definitely a lot of benefits to Harris, but I would have picked someone exactly what you said from the South, particularly Florida, which is the third or third biggest campaign state up for grabs. Maybe somebody from Texas, because Texas is turning blue. So I would have looked at Texans as well.
Okay.
It has the danger of turning blue anyway. I know that my state is definitely turning blue this time around
Arizona?
because we have a Senate race up, and it looks like the incumbent who was put into office, McSally, is going to lose terribly
Okay.
by over 10 points, I believe.
Sure. Yeah, I was doing calls for what was her name, Monique Worrell.
Yeah.
Today, she's running for state attorney, and she's fighting against cash bail, and she wants to treat kids as kids and not adults in the carceral system, and she's looking to shrink the mass incarceration, especially from
Good.
nonviolent offenders.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. That's actually, I believe that's a Florida race. They're going to be voting 18th. That's Tuesday.
Alrighty. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. What is it? Orange and Osceola County?
Yeah.
Counties?
I believe so.
With those? Yeah.
Very little.
Okay. So I wonder what happens now. I guess Kamala and Kamala and Biden are going to announce next week,
right?
I think. Then I wonder what happens politically after that.
Well, I know that. Did you see that rambling message that Trump tried to do on top of him? On top of the announcement that the Kamala. No, it was pretty terrible. He was like, she's against petroleum products and fracking, and I mean, just ridiculous. She was basically making the case that the base should definitely jump on top of Harris's assignment to the vice presidency.
Yeah, it's like when Republicans think they're saying something bad, they're actually saying a bunch of good things.
Oh yeah, it's there. It's things that the reason that their base won't vote for them is the same reason that everybody else probably will.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Can we pause this a second? I need to get something to eat, and I'll be right back.